What better way to savor our precious memories than on videotape? Hi, I'm Len Rome from NBC News. If you look up the definition of legend in the dictionary, you'll find that it's a story handed down for generations that is said to have historical value. Of course, once the story is complete, this tape will be hidden away for generations to come to view and learn from it. It becomes not just a videotape, but a remarkable historical time capsule. For the next few minutes, we're going to delve into the archives of this magnificent edifice known as Holy Trinity Catholic Church. The first Ukrainian immigrants of the Byzantine Rite settled in Youngstown, Ohio, over 100 years ago. They were looking for a better way, a way to experience total freedom, raise a family, and prosper. Yes, while all the nationalities were struggling to save the almighty dollar, one man was only interested in saving our souls. This man is, of course, our own Reverend Monsignor Archpriest Leo Adamiak. What can be said about this pious man who's been a priest for 54 years, and 50 of those years at Holy Trinity Church in Youngstown, Ohio? In the church archives, our reporters discovered that 150 Ukrainian families began looking to start a Ukrainian Byzantine Catholic church in Youngstown as far back as 1909. Well, since there was no church, they celebrated the Divine Liturgy at Dival Hall on West Federal Street. Reverend Michael Baylog purchased the present land property for $14,500. It included a rectory and a two-story dwelling. A Cleveland contractor had the lowest bid in 1911, and a new church was under construction at a price of only $29,000. The church was completed in 1913, and the social hall across the street was completed the same year. During the next 40 years, there were 14 different pastors. Then, for the next 50 years, there was just one dedicated and devoted pastor, recently celebrating his 80th birthday, our very own Reverend Monsignor Adamiak. Since the end of World War II, over 3,000 people joined Holy Trinity Church, and 4 masses of Divine Liturgy were celebrated every Sunday instead of 2. Monsignor is known to be not just a member of the clergy, but a man with a shrewd business sense, a man with a mission to continue the Catholic community's spiritual and perpetual well-being and work toward eternal salvation. Some friends and parishioners were asked to describe Monsignor in just a couple of words, and this was their response.
Not only a dedicated pastor, but a friend to everyone.
Is very giving and forgiving.
Monsignor is very parish family oriented. Pious and honorable.
Family and respect for people.
Yeah, I know him for 50 years. I know. I'll tell you, it was an inspiration to me, really. It was an inspiration to me. All kidding aside, I marvel at the way he treated the people, the way he ran the parish, and how close he was to the parishioners. I marveled, really, and I learned a lot from him.
He has that glimmer. Even at the age of 80, he still has that little glimmer in his eye all the time.
He's a fun-loving, wonderful priest, always waiting for an occasion to have a party.
You know, Monsignor is not a wasteful man.
To me, Monsignor is Holy Trinity.
We met with this great man in the privacy of his own home to learn about his past and more about the future aspirations of this great Ukrainian Catholic community.
Well, I was born in Altoona, Pennsylvania, and on April the 9th, 1920. And that's the city in which I grew up as a youngster. And I finished my second year of high school there before I went to the seminary in Stamford, Connecticut. And while I was there, that I on graduating from high school there, it was a prep school in Stanford, that I made the decision to go to the priesthood. My purpose at that time, as I recall, and that's kind of still fresh in my mind, is that going to a Catholic high school, which the prep school was a Catholic high school, that the most important part of us as human beings is to save our souls. That rings very strongly and has rung very strongly in my life. My mother and my father's first name was John, and my mother's first name was Julia, and her maiden name was Procol. And I didn't have the parents for a very long period of time. They passed away, and I didn't have the guidance of parents from the time of in my second year of high school, I think I was. Then I didn't have the parents available for any guidance, so I had to be on my own, as it were, from that period of time, and I was from when my mother died. When my mother died, before she died, of course, she was very active in the church. She was also kind of a teacher of the parish children, learning them language as far as I can remember. And the father worked in the railroad, and in the place where I was born. And the mother, of course, died in the middle of the 30s, around 1936 or 37, I think.
Are you the oldest?
I'm not the oldest. Beside myself, there were two older brothers, and one that passed away when he was a child, so I was the fourth of the boys. And there were two sisters, and they're all deceased except the older sister, who's now retired, and after teaching school for a good many years, and she lives here in the area, Boardman. In the time of the Depression, so it was even tougher. So that I learned the hard knocks of life very early in my life, because of the fact that it was tough for everybody that lived during the 30s. It was a time of depression. And of course, today people don't even know how to spell depression. But in my time, it was depression. So you had to grow up fast, and you had to be able to take care of yourself at an early age of your life. So I learned to appreciate and the value of things, value of monies, value of what is necessary, what is not necessary. And I think I carried that idea of conservatism and wastefulness that you see today. I think I learned from my early life not to waste anything, especially food. I was ordained on the 12th of July in 1946. And I was ordained in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at the Immaculate Conception Cathedral. That is of the Eastern Rite, or the Byzantine Ukrainian Rite. And the bishop that ordained me was Bishop Konstantin Bohachevsky, who passed away back in 1961, I think.
Yes, Monsignor recalls his childhood as if it were yesterday. He recalls his love for dance, sports such as basketball, baseball, and tennis, but more importantly, his love for music. The Monsignor goes on to say that most of his childhood was devoted to music. He was in the school band. A couple of years later, he picked up clarinet very easily. Also in the seminary, he learned piano simply because it was available.
I remember going a few miles, even in the wintertime. My hands were half frozen, going to get a lesson on the instrument, on the violin instrument. I think we paid that man 50 cents for a lesson at that time. But that was a lot of money, 50 cents during the Depression time. It was hard. But I went because I loved that music and I wanted to learn. And there were some thoughts even that I might just pursue the musical part for my life. But of course that wasn't the providence and God's providence, so I ended up being a priest, and I'm very glad that I am a priest. If I had to do it over again, I would be a priest.
You really have to admire a person who unselfishly relinquishes what he loves most in life in order to spend more time concentrating on his religious vocation in hopes that all would find eternal salvation. The Monsignor also went on to discuss how much he loves the outdoors, flowing clouds, sunsets, birds, flowers, and animals. He even recalled spotting a very rare breed of white albino deer while playing golf one afternoon. You know, at this point in our interview, our reporter asked the Monsignor a loaded question. He's just a normal guy, and we're all human. We asked him if he ever cheated in golf.
You just shot a 40.
I shot a 40, yeah, but I can shoot a 40 for 9 holes.
And you don't cheat?
No, I really don't cheat. No, I don't cheat. The only thing is, if I might forget, but I don't purposely put on the takeoff. Don't subtract purposely. I don't.
Yes, the humorous side of the Monsignor. But what the congregation recalls in the many decades to follow is much love and devotion, and the way in which he unselfishly serves our Ukrainian brothers and sisters in Christ. Despite the challenges and hardships he knew he would face, he persevered. Because of this exemplary service and responsibility, his beatitude, the Patriarch Cardinal Lubachevsky, has bestowed on him the highest spiritual title of mitred archpriest. It was 1996 when the Monsignor had this honor bestowed on him. But what sort of hard work and superior accomplishments preceded this installment? It all began 46 years earlier when Reverend Leo Adamiak arrived in Youngstown to assume the pastorship of Holy Trinity. That date was August the 5th, 1950. Thank heavens for his business sense and the help of a strong, growing, and hard-working Ukrainian community. Reverend Adamiak's first challenge was to reconcile the church people to work in harmony under church law and regulation. Another major undertaking was to gain pastoral trust with the congregation. The lack of ability to show where church funds were going had plagued the church for years before Reverend Adamiak arrived. To gain the parishioners' trust, he set up a precise recording system showing all offerings from day one, as well as all checks and balances. During his first year, the Hall of 1912 across the street was repurchased from the McKay Machine Company for $70,000. It became once again a much-needed social hall for the young parishioners and for other activities that always took place in the church basement. A very choice piece of property was also purchased on the east side, consisting of over 14 acres of wooded land. Berkeley Grove Picnic Grounds provided a place for parishioners' summer activities. It was also that year that Reverend Adamiak began the Junior Sodality of the Blessed Virgin Mary. It was geared to unite teen girls of the parish in greater spirituality. In 1951, the Ukrainian Catholic Youth League was organized. In 1953, a national convention was held for the Ukrainian Catholic Youth League in Youngstown at Holy Trinity. In 1957, Reverend Adamiak realized the church was growing, and with his tremendous ability to crystal ball the future, he made a business decision to purchase 8.5 acres off South Avenue Extension to be preserved for future parochial needs. Also in 1957, a complete interior renovation of the church took place, which included much-needed extensive repairs. The renovation was so well done that it did not need work again until 1971.
We also had the church remodeled inside. We had steps going 90 degrees from the street, so we had that terraced, so it would make it easier to get to the front of the church by making it a little more easier to climb the church and so on. And then, of course, we put air conditioning into the church, which is still functioning. It was a very, very good thing to do that. Then we had also the church interior done, painted. The icon screen was gilded, with gold leaf, And then the whole thing was redone. We had our stained glass windows, which needed repairs, needed new frames. We put real good frames in there, stainless steel frames. Before they were just iron frames, which are rusted away. And then the exterior of the church, we had masonry on the brickwork, the whole thing. We had the roof fixed up. We had the cupolas of the church. We had those repaired, and so because there was some leakage in there, so we eliminated that.
In 1958, the St. Sebastian Teenage Club was organized. At this time, high school teenagers met for religious instruction and for social events. And in June of 1958, His Holiness Pope Pius XII conferred the honor of Papal Chamberlain on Reverend Adamiak. This was one of the most honorable spiritual blessings that a young priest could receive. More than 1,000 people filled the parish auditorium to honor our new betrothed Monsignor, the very Reverend Monsignor Leo Adamiak. Then, in 1961, this spiritually developed, growing, and organized parish under the tutelage of Monsignor Adamiak celebrated its 50th Golden Jubilee.
The 50th was a very wonderful experience. We had close to 800 people, and the 50th anniversary was celebrated at the Stamball Auditorium. For that celebration, participants was Bishop Walsh, the former Bishop of Youngstown, passed away some years ago, and we had Bishop Malone that participated in that, and we had quite a number of clergy from both the Eastern Rite and the Western Rite, or Latin Rite, or Byzantine Rite, and we had We had the senators and the representatives from our government. We had Laushi, which was a senator at that time, and Kerwin way back then, and then there was others from the city that came and participated. So we had a real nice gathering of people to observe the 50th anniversary.
Then, in June of 1965, a magnificent groundbreaking event took place at a cost of over $500,000. The St. Anne Ukrainian Byzantine Rite Catholic Church began construction at Rose Lake.
The population shift was going to the west, and we started early to look for a place for the ground, to start a mission church, and perhaps even a school, which was a desire because we felt that this area was on the older side, and the shift of the population was going out that way, and younger people moving out in that area. So we figured if we have a complex of both church and school, we can accommodate their needs.
How many parishioners are there now?
I would say there's what we did in the when we separated. That was in March the 15th, 1975. We kind of split it most in half. So it was about let's see, with that 400, we had about 250 apiece. I think it was more or less families. The school had, I think, close to 300 one time. Yeah, I don't know what it is now because I'm away from there since 1975. So from 1975 of March the 15th, it's on its own.
St. Anne's School opened in 1966 with 21 students in grades 1 through 4. Each year, a grade was added and enrollment grew. Within 10 short years, the school grew to over 300 parochial students in grades K through 8. CCD students also grew to about the same number. A testimonial was held in the honor of the 30th anniversary of choir director and cantor Anthony Kohut. This was followed by a banquet and a concert on September 27, 1964. In 1965, to increase the church's income, bingo and the Pierogi Project became a parish St. Anne's Guild operation. And what an operation it grew to be.
But anyhow, so from year to year, it expanded. And I've always asked them, if you're going to do this, always have a good product. Have a good product, reasonable and well done. Then you're going to have people coming from far away because they know this. I go to a restaurant myself, and if I have to travel 5 miles or 6 miles, I'll travel there because I say, hey, there's good food over there, you know, and it's reasonable. So I think that caught on, and up to this very day, we have dedicated people that help out. Most of them are elderly people, but some of them are little younger people too. And this is one of our main funds that we are able to gather to do the rest of the things that we're doing, fixing up or whatever we have to do here.
In 1971, the Monsignor celebrated his 25th anniversary of his ordination to the priesthood. In 1980, the Monsignor was called upon to give spiritual thoughts over television station WFMJ. The NBC affiliate reached a 5-county area of more than 300,000 people. From 1961 to 1975, there were 6 associate pastors, and still just 1 pastor to carry the load. In 1978, new golden front doors were installed.
The front door, we had 3 doors in the front. We eliminated the 2 and left the center one, but then we made it in such a way that it has meaning. It's just not a door, but it has a history. It has a history of what takes place inside that church. It has a history of what the people did in this area. So we have the steel mills, we have the flow of iron, we have the growth, and then we have the ethnicity, and we have the from where the people came. We have a replica of a church that's a wooden church.
In 1986, another one of Monsignor's dreams came to fruition. An 80-foot-high cross and shrine for the entire county to see in commemorating the Ukrainian ancestors before us.
The shrine came about an inspiration to commemorate a very important celebration of an event, and that's Christianization of the people who built this church. And the cross represents that. Christianity is the cross. And so to honor them, to honor those, that shrine was built not only for the Christianization of a nation, which was 988. This came in 1988, so it's 1,000 years. So the logo on there, on that shrine, right in the background, has that logo, special logo there that reflects. It's a historical reflection of what took place 1,000 years ago. So the shrine was to commemorate that.
Then, in 1986, the church commemorated its 75th anniversary jubilee. Close to 1,000 guests participated in prayer, food, and festivities.
It was a continuation of the anniversary of the church here, but our program, the social program of it, took place at Mr. Anthony's, where the 50th took place at the Samba Auditorium, because Mr. Anthony's was not built then yet when we had the first one. And it was a continuation of the same thing. And of course we had some of the government officials that participated, and I can't remember at this point without having the material before me who was present for that. But we had groups that came in from Pittsburgh, from the Ambridge area, not Ambridge, but it was from Carnegie that came and performed the dances, because at that time they were organized to perform wherever they were invited to do that. These were native dances, Ukrainian native dances. And I recall now that you mentioned it, they were jumping up, in the form of dancing, and one hit the chandelier, and boy, and all that thing busted.
Crystal.
Yeah, crystals busted, And of course, my only thoughts was, now, boy, that's going to cost us a lot of money to replace it.
We're all familiar with the Monsignor and his serious pastoral work. And it turns out he has a lighter side as well.
After this, I'm going to Hollywood.
That's great. Okay, Alfred Hitchcock, thank you.
Okay, all right. All right.
Yes, one day Monsignor came to visit me and to show off his new car. And he had it parked on Prospect Street. And while one of the other priests were keeping him busy, I called up the police and I said, now, if any time you get a call from us that the priest someone stole the priest's car, don't pay any attention, just come up to the rectory and we'll do the rest.
I'm insincere of getting, I'm really concerned about, I lost the car. The car, just got the car and parked it right by his house there, and it's gone.
At the same time, I had the other priest take the car away from the front of the rectory and park it somewhere else. And when Father Adamiak came out to show me his car and saw that the car was not there, he got excited. I said, well, don't be afraid. That's all right. You got insurance. Oh, no, I don't have any insurance. I just got it from the garage. What am I going to do? Well, I said, I'll tell you this city is known for people breaking into cars and stealing cars and so forth. We better call the police. So we called the police, and we got the policeman, John Polatic, on the phone, and we said, here's Father Adamiak, who has come here, and someone stole his car.
Somehow, I don't know how, but they were able to get in that car. One of them got in there while I was busy. They're talking maybe to some other, I don't know what, And he got into that car, and he drove it in the back of the house there. Kind of hid it from. Oh man, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that thing. And it was an interesting thing, and a serious thing, and then a funny thing. All of that.
And now, Monsignor, a few words from some of your faithful parishioners.
Monsignor, do you remember when you asked me to be coordinator for the CCD program? I can never say no to you, so I accepted. At that point in time, I was no good at public speaking, and when I'd conduct meetings with the parents to get them involved, I'd get dry mouth. And when I wanted to put ideas into the program, my voice would crack when I tried to put it across. I was just a mess. But you were there by my side, motivating me to go on. We'd also have meetings together, and I was to be there to give you a progress report and what we were doing. I did that, but then I vented all my frustrations on you. And you'd sit there and you'd listen, and after I was done, you'd look up at me and you'd say, Dee, persevere. I use that word in my everyday life, Monsignor, because you taught me never to give up, and when I start something, to see it through. And to be truthful with you, even when I'm alone and I get frustrated in my everyday life and in things that I'm doing, I can hear you loud and clear. Dee, persevere.
Monsignor Adamiak, я хочу, щоб ви знали, що у Warren, Ohio, в церкві Святого Петра і Павла, желаю вам здоров'я, щоб Бог благословив вас на многое і благое літа, щоб ви могли далі провадити Божу роботу у твоїм парафії. Бог тобі дав здоров'я і просимо, щоб Бог надалі дав вам здоров'я, бо ми мусимо мати добрі священики, так як ви єсте. Най Бог вас благословить на многое и благое літа.
Family means, when I look at our photo album at home, Monsignor's in many of the pictures. He was there for our baptism, for our first communion, for our graduation. He was there for a lot of the happy times in our family. But he was also there for some of the sad times. He was there when my grandmother died. He was there when my dad died. And we needed him for both the happy times and the sad times. Respect, just like we respect our parents, we respect Monsignor for the sacrifices he has done for us, for his teaching, for his time, for his abilities. We will always respect him and love him for this.
For instance, during the year at holidays, we'll have us in church after the gospel. He'll have us all stand up and walk around the church and greet everyone. He feels that it's, you know, we're not just parish members, but we are part of the parish community. They also publish the birthdays and people in during the month, and the people in nursing homes and people that can't come to church, and they invite us to send cards or call people so that we have we can wish them well. So I would say that that's the one thing I think about when I think of Monsignor, that he has this, he orients everything towards the family, towards the parish family. Although you have relatives, you also have a parish family where you can go and people also care about you.
And like everyone else in the parish, he took me, you know, up through the Catholic faith. I mean, made my first Holy Communion, became an altar boy, you know, eventually became a councilman, council person, an usher in church. So we've been together. I'm 50 years old, and he's been at Holy Trinity Church 50 years. I don't think anybody else in the clergy specifically will ever do as much for Holy Trinity as he's done.
I'm always amazed at how well you're able to remember names. This has never failed to amaze me, even since I was quite young. I can relate to this quite well, being a school teacher and 28 years and having to remember names and recall names. And it seems to me I don't recall you ever failing on that note. And Holy Trinity has been a huge parish, and that's certainly remarkable.
On the 25th anniversary for Monsignor, I remember the fun part of it was arranging a motorcade that went non-stop from St. Anne's to the Mahoning Country Club with a cycle brigade leading the procession, and that was fun.
Monsignor's been very involved in my family and my wife's family over the course of years. There's been 12 marriages he's conducted, 19 baptisms, 11 First Communions. He's had 4 altar servers and 4 more up-and-coming altar servers that he will see in the next few years. So he's been involved in our family in that respect, and social activities and holidays, coming over to our house and gracing himself with his presence during our family meals. And he's added that touch of class to every event that he attends.
I've been secretary at Holy Trinity for many, many years. I've seen the works and dreams of a devoted pastor. Some were good years and some were bad. One of his greatest accomplishments was the building of St. Anne's School and Complex. Another great dream of his was the raising of the 80-foot shrine cross, which is next to the church, and it's the largest in the area. He has been a great person to work for, and one was treated as a friend and not an employee. If I hadn't enjoyed working for him, I would have left years ago. We have all been blessed to have this wonderful priest in our lives.
Monsignor, the members of St. Anne Guild want to thank you for being our spiritual advisor for these many years. We also want to thank you for your friendship and understanding in all the undertakings and projects that we have shared. The St. Anne's Guild thinks you are the Holy Trinity treasure. Therefore, we are proud to pay for this celebration in your honor. On behalf of Joseph and myself and all the parishioners, Monsignor, our thoughts of you are this. They have built many churches. They have ordained many priests. We thank you, Lord, for sending us the very best. God bless you, Monsignor. God grant you many years. Mlohayalita.
As we return this video time capsule to its proper place, we know that many generations to come will benefit from these memories bestowed on us from the Monsignor and from all the Ukrainian Byzantine Catholic community. I'm Len Rome. We'll see you in 2020.
Monsignor, that Monsignor is all parishioners. And he came many years ago, and he did many things for St. Anne and for Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
That is wonderful for whole community in Youngstown. See, look at now. That costs maybe $250,000, but maybe more. I think lots of more, yeah. But we're gonna have something for generation to come, and people's gonna go by, and they're gonna watch it. They're gonna come and ask probably Monsignor, you know, what this all about, and like especially 1988. That's going to be 1,000-year Ukrainian Christianity in Kiev, in the Dnieper. So, and
You're going to celebrate here.
we're going to celebrate here.
Ready? Smile. Thank you.
John, it's your turn.
Big stop.
John, it's your turn. Okay. Do you want us to move?
No, I got it. Fine. We're all set.
We're all set?
Yeah. Set.
stand upright and listen to the holy gospel. Peace be with you. Let us be attentive. At that time, as Jesus was entering a village, 10 lepers met him. Keeping their distance, they raised their voices and said, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us." When he saw them, he responded, "Go and show yourselves to the priests." On their way, there they were cured. And one of them, realizing that he had been cured, came back praising God in a loud voice. He threw himself on his face at the feet of Jesus and spoke his praises. This man was a Samaritan. And Jesus took the occasion to say, "Were not all 10 made whole? Where are the other 9? Was there no one to return and give thanks to God except this foreigner?" He said to the man, "Stand up and go your way. Your faith has been your salvation." by the prayers of his most pure mother, our venerable and God-bearing fathers, and all the saints, have mercy on us and save us, as he is good and lover of mankind. Grant, O Lord, many years. To all our civil authorities and those in the service of our country, grant, O Lord, many years. Grant, O Lord, many years. To our most Reverend Archbishop Metropolitan Stephen, grant, O Lord, many years. Bishop Robert, grant, O Lord, many years. To our God-loving Bishop Bishop Benedict, grant, O Lord, many years. To every priest, deacon, monk, and nun, all spiritual fathers, our brothers and sisters, and all Orthodox Christians, grant, O Lord, many years.
To the Lord's faithful servant, Priest Leo, on this happy occasion we pray, O Lord, grant him many happy and blessed years.
I would like to take this opportunity to express my grateful thanks to Archbishop Metropolitan Stephen, to Bishop Robert, to Bishop Benedict, the priests, religious sisters, deacons, and choir members from our local churches, the KFC, the honor guards for our bishops, all the persons present of the laity at this expression of faith community in this service. All the religious present, please remain for a group photo which will be directed by Helen Lesiganich, either outside or inside. Depends if there's any rain out there, we'll stay inside. No rain, we'll go outside. Also, please exit to your cars and follow a red 1946 Ford. The one I came to Youngstown in was not red, it was a 46. And I was always worried about whether I get stuck somewhere on the road. But somehow I made it. And yesterday, Saturday, was 50 years ago, and I celebrated from liturgy, divine liturgy, on the 6th, right on this very day, 50 years ago. So he will lead that red car, red Ford 46. It's not mine, by the way. Will lead you to Mount Carmel Banquet Center. So follow instructions of the parking marshals, and in that way that you won't get lost if you're out of town, especially. And again, many thanks, and you're now dismissed. And I hope that the religious will remain for a group picture. Thank you so much.
What? You know, it's just like, I can't, I mean, I just don't know how to alarm. How are you? Where's that red Ford? Oh, this is like yeah. You said about 46 Ford. We had 45.
now that it's over. All the practice they've been doing every week.
Find something else now.
I hope with nice ring.
That's good. That'll still get you inside.
I can't concentrate. And smile, you're getting smile.
Slide down the road.
Channel 26. Who's Channel 26? That's me. Oh, that's you.
Hi, Christine. How are you doing? Better known as Treasured Moments.
Feels good.
Okay. Here, hang on. Looked like he wasn't gonna wait for you. I have a hard time keeping up with him.
Знаєте мене?
Я за вас думаю, Влад.
Я за вас все думаю.
Пан Стефан.
It's a replica like what is in that. No parishioners. Only visitors.
So Monsignor, a priest and a future priest. How are you doing?
How are you?
Alright.
You know,
Yeah, what's perfectly almost there. I make my adoration here. Do you too? Yes. Did somebody give the Monsignor a ride? Did somebody give him a ride?
He's not here yet?
Oh, well, there's a thought.
Really?
I thought he's in the limousine. Well, he's not here yet. He's the only one that's not here. Hi, how you doing? It's the hard-working people now. Here we go. It's the chef. Is it the chef over here? It's the chef.
Oh, good. Then we don't start.
Hi, how you doing? Nice job. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. Hi. Gotcha. Look, she's posing for me.
Huh?
You're posing. You look good.
Is that what Gee, we're getting to know you all the
You
time.
guys look like three attorneys. Look at you guys. Look at you.
Well, we're on TV.
5 weeks.
5 weeks.
Yeah.
You look good. You look good. So does your wife.
Wait. Take her.
Gotcha. We got you. Hey, nobody brought the Monsignor. He's the only one that's not here.
Oh, I'm his buddy.
Should I go back and get him? No, nobody brought him. He's the only one that's not here. I think the limo got lost. Can't start the party without him. And you know, when they came to the office, I said, it could possibly be, but they're too good looking to be your, your wife and daughter.
I know that. He dance for you. Can you dance? We need music.
Put the music on, he'll
Right.
Hey, you guys, when you see your dad tonight on the big screen, don't laugh, all right? I'll be laughing at him.
Well, you have a drink. How you doing?
Hi, how you doing?
I'll see you inside. Going the wrong way, boy. I didn't get my camera, John.
Danny boy. Where's the rest of the brothers?
They're around somewhere.
I'm in it.
Hi, Mr. Wasanovich.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Let me get you guys. Shouldn't she be carrying you?
She won't do it. I tried to get her to, but
This is your daughter?
no, this is my niece.
Oh, your niece. Okay.
Now look at the camera.
Hey,
No.
give me those keys. Hey, give me those keys.
Daddy, where you got the flower?
Someone gave it to me.
Okay. Okay.
You know what? Carol, it's time for them to leave immediately. It's clear. Okay, honey.
All right, Helen. Control that. Control the production here, Helen. You're like a director. Isn't she?
I know.
Look at everybody looks so beautiful.
That, it's not a box, John. Go in there and look on the piano. It's on the piano.
Why don't you take a picture of this?
Beautiful.
Our display.
Beautiful. What's in there? Pierogies?
No.
Just kidding.
You have to smell the high heavens.
I owe you money though. Right?
This was our project.
Beautiful.
Me? I don't get excited.
Who's never excited?
I don't get excited. Life's too short.
Monsignor on your way down.
Yeah, you're like, we're going to set you up a room in the back. Yeah.
Don't speak, Sean, Carol, I want
Hey, Lou.
Did I watch one? Oh, no.
I do a different almost every day.
That's good.
Well,
That's
I
good.
do it after breakfast and make sure I get it in.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Keeps you young.
I go to the Y too.
Oh, do you?
I keep looking for you down there. I don't see you.
I don't have time. I don't have time. When I get retired,
When
then
you
I'm going to start
retire,
going.
You retire.
Hi, Lou.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
A motorcade. He drew a bigger crowd than Bush. Did you see that?
Signore, faccio bene.
There's the man.
How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Good.
No.
Let's get the other way. Oh, we got a little window.
That's.
Nice close up on it.
Stay inside for a couple minutes.
Just back up a little. Just back up a little.
Back up.
No, they want you to wait until tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay. The food's not ready. The food's not ready.
Just prior to his election.
Hey, Monsignor, there's Monsignor.
There you are.
Those are important people over there. Everybody in here is important.
All right.
So it was very beautiful, Monsignor.
Thanks.
Very beautiful.
Thanks.
How do you feel?
John Fitzgerald.
My hands.
I left the Republican Party.
And it's very beautiful in there, too.
I'm sure.
Recidivist.
Go to California. Comes the motorcade coordinator.
Get out of here.
You have a lot of titles.
What is it?
You have a lot of motorcade coordinator. I got Helen calling you on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
We have it on tape for posterity. You guys did good.
Did we? You know, before they go in, okay?
Joy that we welcome the dignitaries and guests at the front table for our jubilary and our loving Monsignor Adamiak. Please rise. I have been designated as Mass this evening to serve as your facilitator, the one that will attempt to keep things moving. And Monsignor was very clear with the fact that the Republican convention had just finished, that a parochial convention of ours will take place next week, and the Democratic convention will follow the following week. So he didn't want us to extend this into the form of a political convention, and we will not do so. Slava Susufiscu. To begin our program, I'd like to call upon our beloved Archbishop Stephen Sulik to offer the opening prayer and remarks. Archbishop.
Heavenly Father, today we gather to give you thanks for your servant, Michael Archpriest Monsignor Adamiak. 80 years ago, on April 9, 1920, you blessed him with the gift of life and then led him to serve in the holy priesthood in the vineyard of your Son, Jesus Christ. For 54 years, he has fulfilled the sacred oath made on your altar as the then Archbishop Constantine Koczewski prayed over him. O God, who are without beginning and end, who are older than the creation, who have adorned him with dignity of the priesthood, those who deserve to sanctify the work of your truth, grant that your servant Leo may receive the great grace of your holy priesthood in innocence of life and an unwavering faith. We thank you for his half-century of dedicated service as the spiritual head of your parish family here at Holy Trinity in Youngstown, Ohio. A mantle he assumed 5 decades ago as a young priest, as I found out today, August 6, 1950. We also give thanks for our brother Bishop Robert and Bishop Conception, my many brother priests, religious, and dear family, relatives, and parishioners of Monsignor Adamiak, we have gathered here to celebrate this happy occasion and honor him with this testimonial. Today, may your Holy Spirit be present among us. We pray that you may bless our jubilarian Monsignor Adamiak with long life, a good health, as he continues his dedicated ministry to our church and our faithful, and may the Holy Spirit bestow your gift upon all of us, your children, and through your grace, may each of us receive the promised blessings of eternal salvation in your heavenly kingdom. Glory to the Father, to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit.
Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy.
May Christ God bless this community for your holy name always and forever and ever.
Amen.
Please be seated. To share with you some reflections and reminisce with you about some of the most memorable and happy times I shared with the Jubilary. While it seems like only yesterday, it wasn't December 8, 1953, when I first arrived in Youngstown as a young priest to be an assistant at the Holy Trinity Parish in Youngstown. At that time, then Father Leo had already been ordained 7 years earlier. He was, in my eyes, a senior priest, someone to whom I had to look up. I looked up to him then, and I still look up to him today. For in those short 14 months I spent here, I came to know a priest who served our Lord and his parish family with love and dedication. He knew firsthand what St. Basil taught. The work of the ministry is an exalted work and leads to the kingdom of heaven. In 1954, I witnessed and was inspired by the paternal love he already shared with you and your parents, that special relationship between a pastor and his faithful that began here in 1950 when he first came to Youngstown. In his half-century of service as your spiritual father, he has been a special blessing from God to you, your families, your parish. For me, he has also been a special blessing. In my 14 months of service as his assistant, besides being a colleague in the vineyard of the Lord, Monsignor Leo became my friend, a lifelong friend. I too, like you, thank God for making our paths cross as young priests almost 5 decades ago, and for the great friendship we share throughout our lifetime. Occasions such as this enable us to page through the photographic album in mind. That album means memory. I have many memorable images of times shared, especially our travels together, our experiences on the golf course. Monsignor Leo first introduced me to golf and tried to teach me. When golfing, he gave me number 3 iron. That's all you're going to get today, he said. You would get on the tee, hit the ball down the fairway 250 yards, and then tell me, Father Steve, now you try to do the same. It seemed so easy. But at that time, both of us learned patience. Both of us learned, maybe for the first time, that golf is the best school of humility. You also taught me what a mulligan means. I didn't know that, I never heard that word. Mulligan. Take it again. And when he hooked or sliced the ball into the rough, or worse yet, into the woods, guess who had to find that ball? That's right, me, the young assistant. Many of you will recall how 50 years ago there was a much greater emphasis on sin, and Sundays were truly kept as Lord's days. One day I asked Monsignor Leo for some advice. I asked him if it was a sin to golf on Sunday. He hesitated for a moment, and then frankly told me, Father Steve, the way you swing a club, it is a sin to golf any day. In all seriousness, I am most grateful for our years of friendship, as both of us serve the Lord in His vineyard. Reflecting on this friendship, I am reminded what is written in the book of Sirach. He says, a faithful friend is a sturdy shelter. He who finds one finds a treasure. Monsignor Leo, thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being such a treasure. God bless you always. Slava Jesus Christus.
Thank you very much, Archbishop Stephen Sullivan. At this time, I'd like to call upon our beloved Bishop Robert of the Eparchy of Parma to offer a wine toast and for his remarks. Excellency.
40 years ago, when you honored your pastor on the 10th anniversary of his ordination, he was kind enough to invite me here to that affair, even though I wasn't even a priest. I was just a humble seminarian in Washington, D.C. I think maybe subdeacon. And having seen how nicely you had received Monsignor Adamiak, I think that would probably convince him to stay for another 30 years, or 40 years, 40 years. 40 years. I'm not supposed to talk. I'm supposed to propose a toast.
First of all, I'd like to toast this toast in memory of his parents, who gave birth and reared such a fine man for this parish, apparently, because he spent 50 of his 54 years as a priest in Holy Trinity Parish here in Youngstown. To the memory of all of those people of your own faith community whom he served and led to Jesus Christ and to eternal life. Lastly, to post this toast to Monsignor Adamiak, that he may live still maybe at least 25 years. That's a little more than 100 years. And be blessed by God, and may through him, may you also be blessed for many long happy years.
Thank you very much, Bishop Robert. Please be advised that we will start dinner now. Please stay in your seats, and the entertainment will be provided by the Joe Baez Trio. Attend Coronado, Ohio license ABY 9215. Your lights are on. Please shut them off.
I'm busy though.
You're busy eating. You can't be interviewed now. You're busy eating.
Hey.
Wish Monsignor good luck.
Tuesday is calling hours and Wednesday.
He's going to get me run on top. Holy cow.
Good luck, Monsignor. Good luck, and good health.
Many more years.
Yeah, I know.
Say good luck to Monsignor.
Hello, Monsignor.
Which is at least 3 miles. So you would think everything would be all right, but she's had heart trouble now with Jim.
Wish Monsignor good luck.
There he is.
Good luck. He's past here.
Good luck, Monsignor.
Hi, Monsignor. How are you? We're waiting for you to go golfing.
Channel 27.
I knew he'd come when I was feeding my mouth.
Good luck. Here he is.
Uh-oh! It's about time you took my picture.
That's right.
Yeah.
Huh?
Wave to the camera.
Oh, hi.
John. John.
Could I say hello to Monsignor? Many happy, healthy years, Monsignor. You deserve it.
Hi, Monsignor. Thank you for all your years with us. We love you. God bless.
And he looks great. God bless him.
When I grow up, I want to be
Give me a wave, you guys. Hey. Don't be afraid. Don't look at camera.
That's the worst time to take videos when we're eating.
I know, I kind of wait till everybody was done.
Wait, you want to take pictures without the other?
Several years ago.
God bless you. God bless you, Monsignor.
God bless you.
Hi, Monsignor.
Say hello to Monsignor. That sounds good.
Monsignor, congratulations, Monsignor. Monsignor married my mom and my dad. They married Kelly and I, and maybe you'll see the baby. He's around here somewhere. Congratulations, God bless. Monsignor.
Where's she going? There she goes. Monsignor, there she goes. She's running from me.
Hi, Monsignor.
Congratulations, Monsignor. Nice to be here.
Oh, hi, Monsignor. Congratulations.
You have our congratulations.
Congratulations. Very good.
Ready to go.
Okay. We're saying hello to Monsignor.
Wish you good luck.
Hi, Monsignor. Give us a hug.
Come on, Helen, this is your big debut. Come on.
Oh, come on. No more.
Helen loves the camera. Give me that one. I held my back.
Let's go back to the table.
Give me a kiss.
We love everybody all together. We love
Throw him a kiss. We love you. Are you ready? Okay, we're gonna do it.
How are you, my dear?
Take care. God bless.
Are you leaving?
What's that?
Are you leaving?
Yeah. Yeah, I have to get back. Can't drive after dark. Everything is, you know.
Everybody, nice to see you.
Come back.
No, I called Denise. I have to. All right, now we're giving our greeting to Monsignor. Helen. Everybody
Throw Monsignor.
All right.
Is it JC?
How much is it worth?
Is it candy?
Yeah.
Monsignor, they thought it was candy. They were trying to eat it.
Yeah, he thought it was. He wanted to trade it in for candy.
Say hi to Monsignor on the camera.
Say hi to
Hi, TV.
Say hi. Say it again.
Tell Monsignor.
Tell Monsignor thanks for the candy.
Goodbye.
Tell him thanks for the candy. Go ahead. Over there, not at me.
You tell him.
Thanks for the candy, Monsignor, from all the kids. Right?
As soon as you settle in, I'll begin.
Okay.
I'll get you guys some tea before we start.
Wait, I want to sit by him. Hey, photographer.
All the celebrities.
I want to sit by him.
We are not allowed to get married yet.
I'm not
Yet.
yet.
See, you're taking all the poets.
Hi.
But I believe it's just the opposite. I'd like to thank the Joe Baez Trio for the wonderful selections that they honored us with during the dinner. And I'd also offer a congratulatory note to Mr. Lou Facillo and his entire staff for a wonderful meal. I'm going going to introduce the main table now, but before I do, I'm going to deviate for just a minute. I know I promised you at the beginning of the program that I wouldn't talk about the convention or about Bush or Gore, and I won't. But I am going to talk about our previous President Bush and tell you a short story that exists in Father Brian Kavanaugh's Sower's Seeds. President Bush, this one particular day, telephoned the Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Shamir one afternoon. Shamir was in conference, so the president was placed on hold. When the Prime Minister came to the phone, President Bush let him know, in no uncertain terms, that he did not particularly care if he kept waiting. And Shamir replied, "I'm sorry, Mr. President, but I was meeting with somebody very important." And the President's reply was, "And just who do you think would be more important than the President of the United States?" And Mr. Shamir responded, "I was meeting with Moses. In fact, he's with me right now." So President Bush exclaimed, "I can't believe it. If you know Moses and he's with you now, get him on the phone. I'd like to talk to him." Shamir again put the president on hold for a minute or two. He came back and he said, "Mr. President, Moses doesn't want to talk with you. He said the last time he talked to a bush, it cost him 40 years wandering in the desert." I find Monsignor Adamiak's first cousins, Dr. and Mrs. Bogdan Kratko, Professor Emeritus retired of Villanova University. Dr. and Mrs. Next, we have Right Reverend Monsignor Sylvester Plackey, pastor of Saints Peter and Paul Parish in Warren, Ohio, and a close companion of the Jubilarian for 50 years. Next, we have our Reverend Robert Moscow, Bishop of the Eparchy of St. Josephat, Parma, Ohio. Of course, we have our Jubilarian, who we'll hear from later, our very Reverend Mitred Archpriest, Leo Adamiak. Our wonderful Archbishop Stephen Sulik of Philadelphia, who has led the Ukrainians since his consecration in Rome in 1981, and a very close friend of Monsignor. The retired auxiliary bishop of the Diocese of Youngstown and close personal friend of our Jubilarian, Most Reverend Benedict Franzetta. Our beloved pastor at St. Anne's Parish, who's been with us a little over a year. He also serves as the consultor of the Eparchy of St. Josephat, the Reverend George Appleyard. I'm going to ask Father Monsignor Appleyard to present the City of Youngstown's proclamation for the Jubilarian. Monsignor.
City of Youngstown Proclamation, Mayor George M. McKelvey. Whereas Monsignor Leo Adamiak was born on April 9th, 1920 in Altoona, Pennsylvania. He attended public and parochial schools in his early education. He entered the minor seminary in 1937 at St. Basil's in Connecticut, and later at St. Charles in Catonsville, Maryland. In 1943, he enrolled at the Catholic University in Washington, D.C. to pursue his theology course. And whereas Monsignor Leo Adamiak was ordained a priest on July 12, 1946, and assigned as secretary to the Archdiocese of the Byzantine Rite in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and concurrently served as pastor of St. Michael's Byzantine Catholic Church in Camden, New Jersey. And whereas on July 29, 1950, he was appointed pastor of Holy Trinity Byzantine Rite Church in Youngstown, Ohio, where he remains to this very day. During his pastorate, he was a consultant to the Philadelphia Byzantine Archdiocese for 10 years and holds that position in the newly established St. Josaphat Byzantine Diocese of Parma, Ohio since 1984. And whereas from 1957 to 1961, he was a faithful friar of the Youngstown 4th Degree Knights of Columbus, Assembly 274. In 1958, he was made a papal chamberlain by Pope Pius XII. He was the initiator of establishing St. Anne Byzantine Catholic Church and School in Austintown in the mid-60s and pastored there for 9 years. A large building and renovation project at Holy Trinity Byzantine Church was completed in Youngstown in the mid-70s. And whereas an 80-foot cross memorial was erected adjacent to the church in the mid-80s, commemorating the 75th anniversary of the parish and the millennium of Ukrainian Christianity. In the mid-90s, a church museum consisting of church artifacts was initiated, and large repairs and landscaping projects were completed. And now, therefore, I, George M. McKelvey, as mayor of the city of Youngstown, do hereby wish to congratulate Monsignor Leo Adamiak for his outstanding career of 50 years of pastoral service in our Youngstown community. On behalf of all citizens, I would like to wish Monsignor Leo Adamiak continued health, happiness, and success as he continues in service to Holy Trinity Parish and participating in all church-related activities in his own parish and the local Latin Rite churches of the Youngstown Diocese. In witness wherefore, I hereunto set my hand and cause to be affixed the great seal of the city of Youngstown, Ohio, this 17th day of July in the year 2000, and it is signed George M. McKelvey, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Monsignor. It is now a pleasure for me to introduce to you Very Reverend Monsignor Robert Sifrin. I, along with Father Deacon Michael, had the privilege of having Monsignor Sifrin as a mentor in our diaconate studies in church history. He currently serves as Vicar General to Bishop Tobin and as moderator of the Curia at the Diocese of Youngstown. I would like to invite Monsignor Sifrin to present Bishop Tobin's congratulatory letter to Monsignor.
The text of the letter to Bishop Tobin reads, Dear Monsignor Adamiak, please accept my most sincere congratulations on the celebration of your 50th anniversary as pastor of Holy Trinity Church. On this happy and important milestone in your life and priestly ministry, I join you in giving thanks and praise to Almighty God for the countless blessings you have received and shared so generously with others. I pray that the good Lord will continue to bless you and all that you do in the days and years to come. Although it is not possible for me to be with you on August the 6th, please be assured of my special remembrance in my prayers. Again, congratulations and God's blessings. Yours sincerely, Thomas J. Tobin, Bishop of Youngstown.
Thank you very much, Monsignor Sifrin. And at the end of the table, we see my very best friend. My mate of 41 years, the mother of 8 children, the bubble of 10 grandchildren, my loving wife, Connie Jean Billy. Under the threat of duress, I was informed that I have to remind you that the wonderful magnet gifts which depict Monsignor are to be used and not put in a drawer. And Monsignor asked that I remind you that if he should come to visit, he's going to look for it on the refrigerator. At this time, I would like to ask Olga Brown, President of the St. Anne's Guild of Holy Trinity, to make a special presentation to Monsignor Adamiak. Olga?
On behalf of St. Anne's Guild, we have this presentation to Monsignor. We wish him the best, good health and happiness, and may God bless him for many more years to come.
Inscribed in the back, Monsignor Leo Adamiak, 50 years pastorship, Holy Trinity Byzantine Ukrainian Catholic Church, Youngstown, Ohio, August the 6th, 2000, by St. Anne's Guild. Thank you very much. Michael. Give it to Michael. Michael will take it. We'll put that in the back with the other things. Okay. It's a depiction of the Holy Father, John Paul II, with the engraving on the back as a remembrance for Monsignor. Now we're going to go through a transition. We had a video taken by a very capable young man, John Bagnola, of Treasured Moments. He's standing right here taking my picture now. And it's necessary for the front table to take seats in the lower level. And John will set up the screen and the camera, and he'll be telling you a few of the quirks that took place in the filming of the video. So if we at the front table can please take our seats down below. And John, the task is now yours. Please be seated, Monsignor. It was interesting when I asked Jeannie her first occurrence when she saw Monsignor, and she shared that with me. She was standing at the side door of the church, and out of the rectory comes running this vibrant, curly-haired, good-looking young priest. And all of the junior sodality girls standing there immediately fell in love with Monsignor. And over the years, they fell in love with him in a different way, for the way that he loved and treated their souls. I want to share a story with you on how I visualized Monsignor. And many of the depictions in the video, which I saw along with you for the first time, share the same opinion. And that opinion is the formation of attitude. That your attitude truly describes your response. And I share with you a brief story about this Jiddo sitting on a porch swing with his grandson on a farm. And lo and behold, this afternoon, a driver stopped. And he approached the porch, and Jiddo got up to go to greet him. And the man introduced himself, and he said, "You know, I come from a town on the eastern coast. And boy, what terrible people they were. And I've been transferred. And I certainly hope the townspeople in this town are not the same." And Jiddo responded, he said, "They are. They'll be exactly the same as the people you just left." And the grandson was puzzled, because he knew the people of the town were very good people, very amicable people. And within a few short minutes, another car stopped. And out of this car came a party. In fact, it was a woman. And she joyously approached the porch. And as she greeted Jiddo, she said, "You know, I've been transferred to your local town. And the town that I came from was a wonderful town, with wonderful people, with great dispositions, and full of love." And Jiddo responded, "And this town will be exactly the same way. They're wonderful people, and they're full of love." And the lady drove off. And the little boy looked at his grandpa, Jiddo, and he said, "Jiddo, I don't understand. A few minutes ago, you told that man that the people here are not that friendly. And yet you told this lady that the people here are very friendly." And Jiddo looked at him and he said, "Their personal attitude, the way they addressed me, determined my answer. They were negative, he was negative when he started to ask me. She was positive as she asked me. So I responded to their attitude." This is the gift that Monsignor has given all of us. His positive attitude, his strong approach, his discipline in maintaining that strong, positive attitude. It's my pleasure to introduce Monsignor Adamiak, the Jubilee.
After that video presentation, there's very little for me to say because you've seen it all. You've heard it all. My salutation to each and every one of you tonight as we conclude another day, another event in my life and in the life of our ministry. So just 4 years ago, I was privileged to observe the 50th anniversary of my ordination to the Holy Priesthood. And as you heard and saw on the video, that's where I should be, where I am, and I hope to be there at the end of my own personal life. I don't think I could be anything else but a priest. Today, I'm again privileged to celebrate the 50th anniversary of my pastorship of Holy Trinity Byzantine Ukrainian Parish here in Youngstown. Some of the events that took place during these 50 years was presented by the video screen graciously arranged and presented by Mr. John Bagnola of the Treasure Moments. And his staff and his narrator then groaned, and it took 150 hours to present what you just saw. And of course, the time capsule will be placed inside the cross that stands right next to the church on the inside, because it's hollow inside, and it'll be there for the future years and for those who will be associated with the congregation to open up. I think this time when it's open again, I'll have to look from above. And I hope it's in heaven, not downstairs. I don't care for downstairs. So it remains for me to express my gratitude and my thanks to our Archbishop Stephen, Bishop Robert, and Bishop Francetta for their presence, for all the priests, and the ones that had some good things about me. I'm sure we could have found somebody that didn't have the same feeling. And to the deacons that are present, and to our facilitator, Deacon Don Billy, our Reverend Sisters, and the Knights of Columbus. Are you here? I think the Knights are here, aren't they? Yeah? Okay. Oh, they're okay. Was your meal okay? Oh, and of course, to members of my family who were able to come from Pennsylvania, Ronald, his wife, his children, and to the guests that were able to come from far and from near, and of course parishioners, both from St. Anne and Holy Trinity. I'm very grateful for their presence and for their words of kindness and friendship, sealing this event. To the Trinity Choir, combined voices of various Byzantine churches in our area, my sincere thanks are they here, and I would like to recognize them again here at this banquet. I hope they can stick together and perform where it's needed, so the community in our area or outside will have the opportunity of hearing the liturgical services with the spirit of that unity under the direction of Mary Isaac. And also for their responses at the church services other than what was heard today, and to the 50th anniversary committee, those who spent a lot of time, and I'm aware of the many months for preparation and for executing the many detailed responsibilities that are associated with any kind of event of this nature. I see Mr. Nerschel over there. Did they feed you okay? Yeah. He's the one who always fixed our machines, so to keep that grass in good order. I just spotted him. So this day will joyously be remembered remembered to my last days on this good earth of the Lord. It is my prayer that you will have a safe journey to your homes, and may God bless, and may our Blessed Lady help you on your return to your domicile. And also I want to especially thank my first cousin, Dr. Bogdan Proko, who is, as I said, my first cousin. And my sister was not able to come. She's not in the best of health. And of course, I'm very happy to have Ronald, Valerie, and their two daughters to participate. And of course, I can't forget the man that has that red 1946 Ford. Where's that man? Over there. All right, over there. They left. They left already. Oh, I thought I'd get a ride back home. But anyhow, they were so kind by the good invitation of, I don't know where Helen Sarconi, she finds anybody that's hard to find, you know. And it's always, when she finds somebody, it's always for free. Well, anyhow, I thank them very much because they came here and I guess they had to get back home. But it reminded me of that Ford that I had when I came to Youngstown. As I mentioned in church, I didn't know if I was going to make it because that thing kept breaking down, you know. Either the tires or something inside the motor, and I'm not mechanically minded and didn't have the tools except a screwdriver and pliers, so you can't fix a car with those two things. Having said that, I again thank each and every one of you who is present here today, or from far, from near. God bless you for your presence and for your participation. I just want to say it, but this might be my last hurrah. Well, you know, when you get 80 years old, you know, well, they said, well, you don't look 80. Well, you might not look 80, but you might feel 80. So God bless you, and now I'm very glad to have the deacon, Billy, and I thanked him. I hope I mentioned that already, and he'll have the concluding speaker here, and the comments that the bishop comes up with.
On conclusion of the benediction, please remain seated to allow the Jubilarian Monsignor Adamiak to exit into the lobby so that he can greet you as we leave. It is a privilege for me to invite to the podium the retired auxiliary bishop of the Youngstown Diocese. And it is even a greater joy to see that he is back in good health. Most Reverend Benedict Franzetta, to offer his remarks and the benediction to conclude the program. Excellency.
Please be seated. Good evening, everybody. I'm very happy and honored to be present tonight to pay respect and tribute to my very good friend, Monsignor Adamiak. And before we have our concluding benediction, I would like to take a moment to pay tribute to Monsignor Adamiak for myself and the Diocese of Youngstown. Monsignor Adamiak and I have something in common besides being priests. We have both lived within a few blocks of each other for many, many years. he at Holy Trinity for 50 years, and I at the old St. Joseph's Church, which is torn down, and St. Columba Cathedral for 40 years. We have both lived in the downtown inner city area for those years and have seen multiple and radical changes over those years. Monsignor Adamiak has been a friendly neighbor to the area and has had a marked influence on it. The revitalization of his own parish property in the immediate area of the church has been recognized and applauded by both civic and church officials as a practical and progressive contribution to the city. He has also been a friendly neighbor to all of us priests and bishops in the Latin Rite Church. He has taken part in many of our church festivities and has been a familiar figure at our cathedral ceremonies. He is a highly respected person among the priests, bishops, and the lay people of the Latin Rite. He has also been a friendly neighbor to me personally, inviting me to many Holy Trinity functions. When I experienced ill health a few years ago, he showed me a care and concern which contributed to my healing and well-being in significant ways. And today, with all of you, I pay tribute to a man of the church who is eminently deserving of our thanks and praise. And as we express gratitude to you, Monsignor Adamiak, we also ask God to bless you, keep you close to Him, and give you many more years of peace, good health, and happiness. Thank you, and God bless you. And now, let us pray. Heavenly Father, we have gathered here today in a spirit of thanksgiving to break bread in unity, celebrating your humble priest and servant, Monsignor Adamiak. We thank you for him, a kindly, gentle, insightful man of the gospel of Jesus Christ. We celebrate his 50 years of ministry and pastoral service at Holy Trinity Church. We thank you for him, for his person, his ministry, his service, and his leadership. And we thank you for this wonderful gathering of your faithful people who have broken bread together in a spirit of unity, charity, and love. And as we thank you for the food you have provided us, and as we now make our way back to our homes, we ask your continued blessings on us all in all that we do. We ask and pray this in the name of the Lord Jesus. Amen. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you.